Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV on PlayFrame, and welcome back to Twine, the home of trolley enthusiasts and very little else. Nice place though, very friendly. I guess except for the people who aren't so much, but on average, fairly friendly. Despite his better judgment, Jarek is considering throwing you a bone. Ooh. Not that it'll do you any good, but we do have a Talos we've been meaning to repair. I can show you if you'd like. It'd certainly be nice to hear something other than Magnus's griping for a change. I can provide you some relief from the griping. At least for a little while. I can't provide you much help. I can only occasionally provide you the right tools when you need them, but I don't need to be on this floor. I can provide you a brief break from the griping. Looks like someone's already beat us here, but please, look about as much as you like. I will. I'm not surprised you got here first. Thou art come to examine the Talos. I am. Looks, big. Truly a most vexing state of affairs. I thought mayhap a closer examination might yield something of value. I see. The means to build Talos stone by stone are lost to us, 'tis true, but here before us slumbers a most fine specimen. Indeed, were it not for a few minor failings, it would be in working condition. 'Twill likely require naught but a few modest repairs and a suffusion of ether. Well, if you think you can get the thing up and running, far be it from me to stop you. But what exactly do you reckon's the problem? I should stress that I've performed only the most cursory of examinations, though such arcane constructs are not wholly unfamiliar to me. As I did suspect from the first, it is host to a network of veins through which ether floweth freely. Or so it would, were it not for several fractures which now impede said flow. How in the hells did you get all that from just a glance? I take it you've thought up a solution as well, then? To bridge these fissures requireth a material highly conductive to ether. Once in place, I believe it will be possible to restore the Talos to life. Might I prevail upon thee to acquire that which we require? Not far beyond the walls of Twine dwelleth a creature of living stone, the Debitage, which might be how you say that, who can say? Full sure am I that stone from such a being would prove most suitable to our needs. This I can do. Very good. I shall have Thancred and Minfilia attend me in the remaining preparations. I spied but 3 obstructions to the flow of ether in the Talos, and thus would I ask you to provide 3 stones of the Debitage. All else will be made ready upon thy return. Hooray! Well, good. I'll be right back with that then. Worry not, Derman. Preparations here will be complete ere long. I'm sure they will. All right. Let me go beat up some living rocks. Well, I am no expert, but if I had to hazard a guess, I would say I might have found some living rocks. I don't know how to pronounce what you are, but you are quite a sight. There we go. Perfect. All right, let's get these rocks back to town. Riange, I beated up the rocks. Wish we had a mage like him around sooner. As you might imagine, we've had trouble convincing people to come here to help. They either refuse outright or demand payment far beyond anything we could have hoped to afford. It's why we've made such little progress in repairing the Talos. We've pored over every scrap of paper left behind by Daedalus Stoneworks, hoping we might learn how it's done, but it just isn't enough. Well, all you needed was 5 minutes from an Urianger. Thancred and Minfilia will return ere long with the remaining supplies we require. didst thou succeed in procuring stone from the debitage? I sure did. A chunk of rock, taken from a debitage. I really hope that's how you say it. Fine specimens, one and all. You have my thanks. We need now but wait for Thancred and Minfilia's return. From end to end, the paths by which ether may flow through the Talos have been duly mended. They but require a sufficient endowment. It's not moving. Strange. The core refuseth to stir. I fear the condition of this Talos is more dire than I previously surmised. As a heart driveth blood through a man's veins, so doth the core ether throughout this massive frame. Failing its repair or replacement, the Talos cannot be restored. So it was the heart after all. Thou didst foresee this outcome? Well, no, not exactly. We'd never gotten this far in trying to repair it, so we had no way of knowing the heart was the real problem. We tried to find another, in case things turned out as they are now, but... Jarek? This isn't really my story to share. Please, Jarek, if something went wrong, maybe we can help. All right. After all you lot have done for me, I suppose it's the least I can do. I'm up for stories. Do share. Well, after I talk to everybody. Though the Talos yet want for a beating heart, it would appear thine efforts were not for naught. That's good. I always appreciate my efforts not being for naught. I hope Jarek doesn't get in trouble for telling us what happened. What could be so terrible he'd want to keep it from us? I am curious too. Jarek may come to regret his next decision. Oh, goodness. Apparently I need some tea. Okay, hopefully that's better. Right then. The Talos, their hearts cannot be made of just any stone. You need a special sort with sufficient ethereal conductivity. Both it and the other materials used in the construction of Talos bodies are mined in the same place. That place, of course, being here, the Hills of Amber. And it was 3 years ago when she... No, I can't. I'm sorry, but you'll have to hear it from Thaffy or someone else. Huh. Back to the tavern, then. I guess so. You don't suppose Thaffy's gonna run off too, do you? I don't know. I'm very curious about this story. What terrible tragedy befell him years ago, I wonder. This is all my fault. I never should have pressured him. No. I think we were all pressuring. And still are going to. Because now I just gotta know what this story is. Thaffy. Still here, huh? You can ask again, but the answer's the same. Our trolleys are... No. Stories. I need stories. What? God damn it, Jarek. You could have at least finished so I wouldn't have to clean up your mess. Seeing how you made such quick progress in fixing that Talos and all, he was probably thinking you could help change things around here. And I think you may be right. Gather your friends. I'll tell you what you want to know. Yay, good. Thank you.
Magnus's wife was a miner, you know. Greatest prospector there ever was.
I figured they were eventually going to have a cutscene with these characters speaking and it was going to reveal what their voices actually sound like. Oh well.
When the golem heart started failing, she was the first to head out in search of more. Problem was, Most of the veins ran dry ages ago, and finding fresh ones to tap's only gotten harder. But she wasn't one to be deterred. She just kept digging deeper and deeper. And then the mine collapsed. We labored day and night to clear away the rubble, but it took us 2 months to find her. To find her body. Magnus has never been the same since.
Where is he, if you don't mind my asking?
Ah, yes, well, if he's not here, there's only one other place he'd be.
What? Oh, you again.
I was almost close with this one.
How many times must I tell you? The trolley won't run! We'd be better off dismantling the damn thing and selling the parts for scrap. Now, piss off back to wherever you came from. And don't let me catch you around here again.
What were their names?
My son was named Skuli. My wife, Agna. Being here with them, it beats going home. Home stopped being home when I lost them. I thought to try and drown my sorrows, but somehow, the bottle's never deep enough.
No bottle is. Believe me, I know.
You've lost someone too?
Not like you. Not my own flesh and blood. I grew up an orphan, so I never really knew what family meant. Not until I met a man who offered to take me in and make me his pupil. He was a kindly soul, always looking out for me, like a father. Not that I appreciated that at the time, or anything else for that matter. But I finally had a family, and then I robbed a young girl of hers. I did my best to make amends, to offer her comfort. But the more I look back on it, the more I realize just how inadequate my efforts were. I let her down. That is why I refuse to let her legacy die. In the end, all we can do is press on, for those we have lost, for those we can yet save. And that requires your Talos. Please, Magnus. You are our only hope of reaching Nabarth Areng.
What rubbish.
She's not gone. No matter what you say or believe, she's not. We can still bring her back.
That was a good attempt, Thancred. Why must he always treat me like this? I don't know. He's going through a lot and has a lot of conflicting emotions. Not that that really justifies the treatment, but I get where it's coming from. I wish there was more we could do for you. I truly do. But after Agna's accident, no one's allowed near those mines. Not gonna go bother him. Full well do I know the pain of loss, and how heavily it can weigh on one's heart. Nevertheless, there is but one way forward. We must needs procure a new heart for the Talos. Thafi, knowest thou any location wherein we might find the stone we require? No matter how scant the possibility, we would seize it. I told you near all the veins were tapped dry years ago. Though I suppose if you really wanted to try, you may find something at Nuvi's leavings. It was opened well before Talos became commonplace, which is why the mining there was never quite as deep. When you get there, look for Guthjon and tell him I sent you. Not sure I said the name right, but don't be surprised if he tells you the same thing. Thine assistance is most appreciated. Dermin, I think it best Thancred join thee in this search. Though he wouldst be quick to deny it, his heart is in turmoil and his thoughts clouded. 'Twould be unwise to ignore his distress. I think that's a good suggestion. I'll go find him and order him to tag along. Thancred! Thancred, we have an errand. Gotta fetch. You have to come with. Off to somewhere, are you? We're off to somewhere. At last, a lead on the stone we need to power the Talos. I can't very well have you go on your own. Lead the way. Oh good, I was worried I was gonna have to convince you. Thancred is tired of waiting around. I'd say we're long overdue for a good turn. I can only hope the gods feel the same way. Now, Nuvi's leavings was to the south, was it? Let's get going. Let's do. Claude, take us there. Or me there. Thancred, you're on your own. There are mounts in this game which can hold more than one passenger. It will not surprise you to hear that Claude here is not one of them. I don't think two would fit. Here we are, though. The way you described it, I was expecting the place to be abandoned. Perhaps our fortunes are finally improving. Though we should probably hear what Guthjon has to say before we celebrate. Assuming we can find him, that is. Yeah, we didn't really get a hint as to where to find the fellow. Although there are some others out here. What do some of you out here say? Keeping the mine from collapsing takes a lot more effort than most people realize. And do we get any thanks for it? Do we bollocks? Thankless work. Rough. Heading into the mine. Wouldn't recommend it. Place is crawling with gnomes right now. We're waiting for them to wander off before we get back to our digging. Oof. Tall gnomes. Intimidating. But we must press on regardless. Into the mines! Thancred! Where'd you go? Don't run off. Not that you need me to protect you, this is for my sake. Don't run off. You have to protect me. Ah, good, you found him. Is this our man? I sure hope so. Excuse me, how many Guthjons are in this mine? Do you know? Who are you and what are you doing in here? Well, you should have listened to Thafi. You're wasting your time. But the site is not as developed as the others, is it not? Surely there must be something left. I should explain. The stone you're looking for is leonine. All the Talos in the Hills of Amber are powered using them. Or were, at least. Anyway, whatever's left, if anything, is too far below to be safely excavated. In the deepest reaches of the mine, we used Talos to keep the pathways from collapsing. They're still there, but they could give out at any time, which is why much of the mine is closed off. Then our only option's to search the higher levels for any fragments of Leonine that may have been overlooked. I suppose there may be one other way. Well, don't leave us in suspense. What you're asking for is a trade secret. I'll need to be duly compensated in exchange. Fine. What do you want? The other day I found a Verbert gold piece down in the mines. A bloody Verbert gold piece. And wouldn't you know it, I dropped the damn thing somewhere while I was working. Find it, and I'll tell you what you want to know. You drive a hard bargain, sir, but we'll take it. It seems we've our work cut out for us, Dermot. Thankfully, I have an idea of how we might hurry things along. Oh, do tell. I should take lessons from you. As I'm sure you've noticed, despite their best efforts to illuminate the corridors, it's rather dark in here, meaning it'll be that much harder to find a single coin hiding in the shadows. That's why I propose we use these. Sun drops. They help the eye take in more light. Why don't you start your search further in and I'll handle this area here. I'll retrace your steps after in case you happen to miss it. If you feel the drop's effects wearing off, I can give you more, so don't worry. That's a great idea. There's all kinds of things I could learn from you. Stealth, this sort of like practical problem solving, brooding. I don't think I'd be very good at brooding. I'm a high-level Dark Knight. You'd think I'd have picked it up by now. But okay, we got a little buff going. That lets us see with a little extra illumination. So let's start poking around. You search the shadows, but find nothing. Perhaps the gold piece lies elsewhere. This could take a while. Do. Pardon me, gnomes. I don't know how you got this name. As you search the shadows, a glint catches your eye. You turn over a rock and find the Verbert gold piece. Huzzah! I did it. Thancred, I did it. Thancred, I found the thing, and I don't feel like you moved from this spot. You just sent me out to find it on my own, didn't you? I was hoping you dropped the gold piece somewhere closer to the entrance. More fool me for thinking Lady Luck was on our side. Well, lucky for you, I went wandering off like you told me to, like a sucker. So here it is. Currency minted by the Kingdom of Verbert. Or maybe she is. Yours, at least. In the end, my contribution was little more than poor company. Well, I couldn't have done it without your sun drops. Come now, Thancred. You are far more prepared for this task than I. Both true. No more than usual, I assure you. I only managed to survive the Curthan wilderness and the Imperial capital by virtue of extensive preparation. A habit of mine since childhood, and one of my few positive traits which endeared me to Louisoix, I imagine. It hasn't been easy finding ways to compensate for my condition. Every tool and trinket has proven vital to my continued success, such as it is. Had I chosen to pursue the arcane arts rather than espionage, well, I'd rather not think on it. So long as I have the means to protect those dear to me, and to see my duties through, that's all that matters. Now let's hurry and see that return to Guthjon. The sooner we get back to Oriange and Menphilia, the better. I agree. Here's your coin. You're back. Wait, does that mean... It do! Here's a coin. I'll be damned. You actually found it. Well, a deal's a deal. But don't think this means you'll find what you're after. I don't know, I'm pretty good at finding. In most cases. Luckily for you, Guthjon is a man of his word. To be honest, I wasn't sure you could pull it off. But you did, and I'm a man of my word. Come with me. Okay. Lead on. Guthjon. It's probably more like Guthjon. Maybe. Not sure what language we're borrowing pronunciation rules from on this one, but I'm already committed at this point. Every time I step out of those mines, the sky seems to get brighter. I'd never leave them if the air weren't so stale. But you're not come to hear my grievances. You're after Leonine. Or Leonine. Who can... Really unconfident about pronunciation today. First I have to ask, you ever heard of rockworms? Rockworms? I know them by another name, though I'm fairly certain the locals call them knockers. Aye, that they do. Whatever you want to call them, those little bastards may be the answer to your troubles. They can fit through cracks and crevices down where we could never hope to reach, and on occasion they come back with something valuable. They dug up Leonine in these mines. It's a rare occurrence, but yes. That said, it usually amounts to no more than a few flakes. Well, our only other option sounds tantamount to suicide. So, how can we draw out these rockworms? Over by that shack, you'll find a bag full of smoke bombs. Set off a few in the mines and you'll flush them out in no time. Once they are out in the open, knock them senseless and check their backs. I should warn you, this method of mining, if you can even call it that, is used as a last resort on account of what little they're like to bring back. You'll want to cover as much ground as you can if you hope to find anything of value. Assuming you do find something, bring it here and I'll have a look. Okay. We should split up if we're to cover more ground, as he suggests. If you can cover these 3 areas on your map, I'll see to the parts between them. Okay. You are helping this time, right? Not just sending me out on a chore? I choose to believe you're helping. Let's get some smoke bombs. And then check the map. Okay, few spots scattered around. Let's get to work. Okay, here's crevice number 1. The acrid smoke from bombs such as this is said to drive knockers into a frenzy. Did it work? I'm going to assume it didn't work in this case. Or maybe we're leaving them about in hopes that the knockers will show up later. I am not entirely convinced on their choice of terminology for the rockworms. This just seems like it would be setting up any mining company for a whole lot of misunderstandings and HR complaints. But what do I know about mining? There's 2. And here will be spot number 3. For smoke bombs. The air in the mines grows thick with smoke. Nearby, you hear the soft rumbling of stones. Ooh. We've smoked them out. There they are. They're so small. Whoop. Small and slightly explodey. There we go. Oh, and another. Come on. Show me something shiny. Inspect the rubble and slay any knockers that appear to... Oh, right, that's just the objective. Well, we got ourselves one little shiny rock. I guess I'm going to need to hunt quite a few of these. Okay, this ought to be the last batch of them. You know, this kind of... This MMO does not make you do a whole lot of the kind of stereotypical MMO thing of, like, go out and kill 10 of these things, collect 20 of this item. Just the sort of quest objective that feels a lot like grinding. Usually the number of things they have you go out and kill or like collect or whatever, for most quests anyway, are pretty small and quick. Which I appreciate, because that's not like, that's never been an interesting like challenge or thing to have to do for a quest. But it does mean that they can, on occasion, for the occasional quest where the item is supposed to be something really rare or uncommon or hard to find, they can inflate the number of things they tell you to go and kill or defeat or collect to make it feel like something that is hard to come by. To kind of like make that, to make the play challenge sort of better fit the narrative that's happening here. Like in this case, where these glittering rocks are uncommon and not something that's easy, and that presumably Thancred and I are both working for a while, killing a lot of those things to try to collect. I think that works pretty well. I found my fair share of rocks. Hopefully there's Leonine among them. Or Leonine. I should choose one or the other. There you are. You find anything promising? I think so. A chunk of rock taken from the hide of a knocker. 7 of them. Between the two of you, I'd say you've got quite the haul. Best get comfortable, friends. It's going to take time for me to sift through all this.
You may not remember this about Arminfilia, but prior to founding the Path of the 12, long before the Scions, she was something of a miner. After her father died, Flamine took her in and taught her the trade. I think they were both seeking to fill the void left by a loved one. Maybe that's why she took to it so readily. Back in those days, I spent most of my time in the Quicksand, or some other tavern, loosening tongues and gathering secrets. Occasionally, I'd catch a glimpse of her in the street, on her way home after another hard day's work. I always felt a wave of relief when I saw she'd come back safe, along with a pang of guilt at the fact I wasn't there to support her as I should have been. Simply speaking with her more than once in a blue moon would have been a good start, but I could never bring myself to do it. Instead, I threw myself into my work and became every drunkard's best friend.
I can't imagine she thought too highly of you back then. Or not your finest hour, to say the least. This one seems like it would sting slightly less.
Far from it, and Flamine has never let me live it down. But that was a lifetime ago. Here and now I have another chance to do things right, and I will not squander it again.
Hey! Come and see what I found! You're not going to believe this.
Tell me it's Leonine.
Dang, said it wrong.
It is at that. You lot were born lucky. It's mostly broken pieces. But look at this.
This is a rather fine specimen.
It's been decades since we found anything approaching this big. But that's not all. There's an engraving on it.
Ah, these scratches here. They're a little hard to make out. To my beloved Magnus and Schoolie.
Yes! Do you see? It was a gift to Magnus from his wife. She found it. She really found it. She must have spent her final hours carving this message into the stone, in the hope that he might see it one day. Those rock-backed bastards must have made off with it before we could clear a path to her. It's fate that brought you here to find this stone. No other explanation. It makes me wonder what else might still be buried in these parts.
Well, lucky us. Love their choice to use lots of kind of music we'd have been hearing a whole lot questing out in Ul'dah way back in the day for these scenes here. Thancred recalling his time with Minfilia back there. And in the place that is kind of the echo of Thanalin out here in the first. It's very good. I had hoped we would find Leonine, but to find that particular specimen is nothing short of a miracle. Yeah, lucky us. All right, we're going to call it for today, but I will see you all next time for some more story mode. Take care. Goodbye.